City of Laredo Suicide Prevention Committee. Today is Tuesday, February the 27th. It's 5:32 p.m. And we are meeting in the City of Laredo Health Department auditorium. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Let's go ahead and do a roll call. Angie, please.
Yes, Dr. Judy Basan. Present. Maxine Lewis.
Present.
Earl Medina. Gabriel Martinez.
Present.
Jaime Montes.
Present.
And based on our committee membership, we do have a quorum. So thank you everybody for being present. I do want to welcome Jaime Montes. This is his first meeting to our committee. So Jaime, would you like to just say a few words?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jaime Montes, and I'm glad to be part of this committee. When Council Member Vanessa Perez selected me for me to be part of this committee, I felt that this was something that I can do based on my experience and based on my education. I know that suicide is something that is not talked about within our community, and when we initiated this committee, I felt that it was the right direction for the city for us to start reducing those numbers. That's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Montes, and thank you for your commitment and for your service. And just like you, all of us believe in trying to do our best to reduce the number of suicides in the community. So thank you for being present.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and do a reflection before we continue. If you will allow me a moment. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for giving us another day of life. Thank you because you are merciful upon each one of us, our families, our friends, our community. We invite you, Lord, to join us as we share this time to plan for your community, for the lives of others, for the well-being of others and the people that we serve. Join us so that everything we do, say, and think, it is within the positive projects and the positive activities to help those that need us the most. In your name I pray, Jesus Christ, amen. Thank you, Lord. Under public comments, citizens are required to notify members of their intent to comment prior to the start of the meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No more than 3 people will be allowed to speak on any side of an issue. Should there be more than 3 people who wish to speak on a particular issue, they need to select not more than 3 representatives to speak for them, and the presiding officer may limit the public comments further in the interest of an orderly meeting. Speakers may not pass their minutes to any other speaker. Comments should be relevant to city business and delivered in a professional manner. No derogatory remarks will be permitted. Angie, do we have anybody that signed up for public comments?
No public.
Thank you, Angie. So we will continue with the agenda, and the item on the agenda is report on current projects, and I'm going to call on Deputy Chief Ricardo Gonzalez to give us an update on the City of Laredo projects that we spoke about at the last meeting.
So I have bad news for the group. Well, no, they're not entirely bad news. Our meeting that we had scheduled for earlier in the month got canceled, actually got postponed until the 15th, I believe. No, I believe it's next week. We've been going back and forth because it's trying to coordinate schedules. No, it's going to be for Friday, actually. That's if it doesn't get postponed once again. So I'll present then the proposal, or to ask the group if they're able to support the project with monetary funds. I've had since contacted the association president. I've yet to receive a call. I hear he's also been very busy, but I'll keep you posted. Even if anything happens before our next meeting, especially if it's good news, I would like to share that way everybody's on the know, and by the time we actually come together, it's going to be a productive meeting where we got all these moving pieces coming together at once. So I apologize for the delay, but something out of our control.
Thank you. And these things will happen, especially when we're trying to coordinate projects with other community leaders. Obviously, we're all volunteers in this, and sometimes other priorities that are work or commitments take take priority, needless to say, but if there's anything that you need from us, please feel free to reach out to me or let me know if you want me to go with you to the meeting, or any of us would be more than happy to. Thank you for following up on that. The next item is the City of Laredo Police Report on Statistics.
Good evening once again, Ricardo Gonzalez, Deputy Chief of our Police Department. This evening, my presentation will be short, which is a good thing. That means we didn't have that many cases, but unfortunately we did lose a citizen to suicide. Update on the statistics, we increased by 1 death this year. Last time we presented it was 5 deaths, but that's because we had a carryover from December. So in total we had 4 for the year. This month we had 1 suicide investigation. Our service calls and reports taken have been rising, obviously, but not as significant as our emergency detentions. This grew almost by 100%. Last month, I believe we presented at 55, so now we're at 105. Do we believe that there's a bigger problem in the community? Obviously, yes, that's the reason why we're here to get together. We've seen the numbers grow, not only on actual people falling victims to suicide, but also because our community is growing, pressures from social media and things that we talked about. So these emergency detentions are actually an action taken of people that have a plan or they intend to hurt themselves or others. 3 significant investigations. When I say significant, is because in these cases, people actually took the steps to take to fall victim to suicide. On the first 2 cases, the 2 persons survived. The last one is the one that actually the person died. As you can see, the 3 cases involve females, which is very particular to this month. The first case, 21-year-old female, relationship problems, has a history of mental health issues, and also had previously experienced problems during her younger years, and also survived other suicide attempts. But she did it by cutting herself, but she survived. On the second one, also female, 15 years of age, also having relationship problems, was reported by the friends after she did an outcry of what she was going through. Successfully, emergency personnel arrived at the location, successfully treated her, and she survived. The last one, 44-year-old female, extensive history of mental health problems. Family believes she had been undergoing care and was taking medication for the mental health issues, but unfortunately had taken a toll on her, and she did die. And this was, the manner of death was gunshot, self-inflicted gunshot wound. And this is a little background on the case. It happened very close by Fort Hammond, San Francisco, which is a block north from the Boys Club here downtown. And she was just sitting in her car. Neighbors in the area heard it while she sat inside her car. Emergency personnel arrived, and she was still alive upon their arrival. By the time they started treating her, she eventually passed away. And I'm sorry, there's a typo on that one. She was 44 years of age. And that's pretty much it. Any questions on any of these cases, any background? Like I said, the anomaly is going to be that all 3 significant cases involve female victims.
So there was 3 attempts and 1 deceased, correct? And, you know, will never know what triggers this, and this is why we're here, to try to identify ways that we can prevent people from taking that final step. But it makes me wonder, because they were all dealing with relationships so close to Valentine's Day, you know, you see people celebrating all these things. I don't know, that's something to consider, I guess, for the future, future Valentine's or any holiday where we are promoting, or the media promotes healthy relationships, or somebody having great relationships, right? And so you see yourself as not having that, or maybe having issues. That's something to make a note of, because we just don't know. So we had a total of 1 and then 5 in January, correct?
So we had 4 fatalities, or 4 people that lost their lives in January, and 1 this month.
I'm sorry, Chief Gonzalez. I know this morning we read of a male that's suicided, I believe, at the Border Patrol station.
Those we don't report, they're a different jurisdiction. So yeah, those we don't investigate. So was it at the, one of the Border Patrol station, or was it at the holding center, or the processing center?
Didn't say.
It was in today's paper, actually, and it's that they were at the holding center there at the checkpoint. So they're beyond the system.
So that would be, what county?
What county?
That's the ones that are investigating.
Thank you so much for your report. Any questions? Let me ask you, while we have you on the agenda, how are the cards? Still need some, still have some needs, some, how are they doing?
We're doing well, and I'll check with Lieutenant Garcia, who's the one that monitors those levels. Last time I spoke with him about it, because I had some with me, and just to make sure that they can get them out to the field to check, and that we're doing well. We have a good amount of cards. We'll be checking periodically and let you know.
I know we mentioned that we wanted to reach out to the City of Laredo Fire Department to see if we could also give them some, maybe that's something we can follow up on. Without any other questions on that item? Okay, the next item is the update on your Not Alone awareness activities. And just to give you some history on that, and some of you were part of the initiative when we kicked it off last March. It was March the 8th in 2023, where we met at Hokikai Park, not under the umbrella of this committee, but just under the community at large. And that, in summary, that campaign was a great success because the entire community came together. Mayor Trevino further proclaimed the year 2023 as Suicide Awareness and Prevention Year, so that every last Friday of the month, of each month, we would create awareness by wearing our t-shirt, our button, or just talking to somebody about the 988. That group, the coalition, recently met, and we're meeting next Thursday on the 7th at 9 a.m. And I will share the invite with all of you. If you would like to join us, we are going to be talking about how we're going to kick off this year. We're already 1 month behind, but it's better to do things correctly than to rush into it. So if you'd like to join us for that. But one of the great things that has occurred and that has come to fruition, and I'm going to pass this around. Take one, please. Mr. and Mrs. So the bus tracks have been finalized, and one of the buses is already running and going, and that's on, I believe they said it was San Bernardo all the way to Calvin and back. And this is something that I think that we need to continue to support, to see what kind of an impact it has on the community that sees this and reads it. But I'm trying to coordinate a time and a date where we can all go out there with the bus and take a picture to promote it, so that when we do, any kind of posting on Facebook or anything like that, we can emphasize to the community that we're all standing with this message. And of course, any possible way that we can prevent someone from taking that final step, of course, we want to do that. And I think this carries the message. This is one of the ideas that came about through the coalition, and because of the great impact that we had in the community as far as creating awareness, the Area Health Education Center received some funding to come up with materials like this one, and then of course buttons and t-shirts. So I will go ahead and have some delivered to your office so that you can continue to wear it. I will, like I said, share the invitation for next Thursday when we're planning our meeting. But I wanted to just kind of open it to all of you, the committee members first, find out what are your thoughts. I know the last meeting that we had, Deputy Chief Gonzalez said that we're trying to partner with other people in the community that are very interested in sharing the message through different methods, right? And the message is 988, you're not alone in English and Spanish. And so he's trying to finalize that possible collaboration so we can have it in the community. And that's in the works. And that entails basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, a poster that would be double-sided and that would have the message on both sides in English and Spanish. But that's in the works. Sometimes these things take a little bit of time. Again, you want to do things correctly, take your time, and rather than just rush through it and then something falls apart. But I would like to hear from the committee members. Mr. Mesa, this is your first meeting. What do you think? What do you believe we should be looking at in general? And sometimes the first thing that people want to know, well, how much money do we have? Let's assume that we have money. What is it that we can do to help people understand or help them realize that there's help, that they're not alone?
So far, this is a great idea. You were mentioning about money. The state of Laredo has a lot of resources. The LPD has resources as well. You can do a PSA, launching a PSA from different departments within the entity of the state of Laredo. I know that LPD has the community division. I don't know if that's something can work together with our committee, with the Laredo Fire Department. That would be something to dabble with. There are various nonprofit organizations throughout our community that, for example, Laredo Crime Stoppers can be some type of a help for us. Ms. Colleen Rodriguez, she is the executive director for Crime Stoppers. I'm pretty sure that we can work something out with her organization. The 988 number, just promoting that through the resources that the city has. I mean, that's so far, this advertisement that you were mentioning, Doctor, will help. Social media will help. And I think that at this moment, I just need to reassess of what we've been doing within our committee and see what we can do for the future. You were mentioning that there was a proclamation last year. Is that something that's going to be annually with the mayor?
I am hoping that yes, it will be. As you might know, suicide is kind of not, there's more awareness about suicide prevention during the month of September because that's National Suicide Awareness Month. But through this initiative, we asked the mayor to proclaim the entire year. And to answer your question, yes, I would like for that to be something ongoing. But then take it a step further this year, maybe invite all of the city departments to be part of the initiative. I know the health department is a very strong supporter, has been from the beginning. I know the fire department, of course, the police department. But as far as other departments, I don't see that much support, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I've overlooked some, but I like your idea about bringing everybody, and maybe through the council members and our mayor, we can get that kind of support because there's a lot of departments at the city. So as far as what this committee has done, just in a nutshell, this committee finally came together starting in October, correct, Angie? Was our first meeting,
Correct.
official meeting. So we technically only met 3 times with a quorum. And what came out of that was the card that I think it's part of your folder.
Yes.
And this is given to the police department for them to leave with the families or people when they respond to a call. We have gone to the police department, we did some PSAs, and that's it. We've been brainstorming, but other than that,
Have we, by any chance, doctor, reached out to, for example, the urgent cares, the emergency rooms? Those are the individuals, well, the companies that are gonna attend if there's a fatal wound of an attempt. They go to, I don't know, if an individual cuts themselves and they get that remorse, they're gonna go to see somewhere. They're gonna go seek for help. Maybe the urgent care community, the emergency rooms, that'll be something that we can pass these cards out. So far, those are the
or have
ideas
some
I
kind of
have.
signage there where they, because correct me if I'm wrong, don't they isolate the person or right there on their watch? They don't just, don't they have like an area?
It all depends the level of the background of the case. If it's a severe or the attempt was, the steps were serious enough, yes. But not all the times. Sometimes these were circumvented, especially when it's teenagers or underage children, because the parents are very involved. They'll take them to somewhere,
Different
whether
places.
it's a clinic because there's an injury, or whether it's a personal counselor, you name it. There's a lot of resources out there, but not everything's kind of aligned to work with each other sometimes. There's a lot of gaps, and throughout the years, we've been getting better at it, especially our collaboration with Border Region, and of course, everybody that you see here from the schools, from the health department. Now the contacts or the connections are almost immediate. We share that information, we work together, but there's a lot of entities out there that you don't see here that are working towards the same goal. So the more we have input, the more we can work together, and the protocols be a lot tighter to try to get the same information, the same message, the same treatment out there. I know there's a lot of cases that we don't know that somehow find themselves through clinics sometimes, you name it. So part of the conversation or the suggestion you were having, it's good to have this information out there, because there's a lot of medical health professionals that don't know how to deal with some of these things as well. As much as you get training, I mean, we hear from the schools, you figure they work with kids all the time, that they would know protocols like the back of their hand, but they don't. Sometimes they're so preoccupied with so many things that sometimes when they have one of these things, they automatically try to shift it to the counselor, which is a lot better trained to deal with situations like this. But I think we all should be advocates or well-trained and kind of get the message as soon as we encounter the problem, because sometimes when we shift or we transfer the person to somebody that we feel is better trained to deal with the situation, maybe they don't have that connection, that the person opened up to a certain individual because they feel comfortable, and they will shut down somebody else. So the more people that you make aware, or the information out there to share, and somebody that you trust, to connect to the person, the better, I think.
Thank you for that. And so, getting back just a little bit about the initiative when it was kicked off, all the people that you mentioned, Crime Stoppers, the schools, Border Region, SCAN, Pillar, every agency in our community almost was present and supported this initiative. And I think that's what made it very valuable, that Gateway Community Health Center, LMC doctors supported it, and they knew what was happening. And this is why I believe we need to do it again, like revamp it, enhance it, make it better, but then take it a step further. And how do we do that? By coming up with ideas.
Yes.
So that next week when the coalition comes together, we can say, this is what was discussed, at our committee. The way I see it, this committee, all of us here are serving because we were appointed by the mayor and by the council members to focus on this issue in our community and identify ways that we can help address it. The Suicide Awareness and Prevention Coalition is just a lot of community members that believe that there was an issue through the awareness made to us by the police department and the fire department, and we came together and we said we need to do something. So we're gonna continue working. We're kind of like the boots on the ground, the coalition, and we support what the committee wants to do and vice versa. We share what we've done, and that's what I shared with you. So the idea is to work together, enhance what's already there, and if it worked, let's continue doing it. Or if we slacked off in any particular time or project, let's get back on our feet, right? So thank you so much for
Yes.
sharing.
Thank you, Doctor.
But I have made a note about making sure that the medical community, the ERs, are brought to the forefront so that they can also help us, besides the city departments that are not already involved in this. Gabriel, what do you think?
I think love the image, so thank you for working on that on our end. Thank you, Chief, for providing us that presentation. And something I was curious about, I don't know if you can get some demographics and area. Is there a possible heat map of the areas where we see the most? Is that accessible?
Yes, in fact, I always have a heat map when I present, but since we just started the year and we haven't seen the high number that we've seen in other years, so you'll see our 5 cases, you've seen the heat map, it'll cover each and every part of town. I was looking at it earlier, the 5 cases that we have, one covers the north, one covers east. So the first one covers south, the second one covers East Laredo, the third one covers North Laredo, the fourth one is also in South Laredo, and the fifth one is in Central Laredo. So as you can see, this is something very difficult, unfortunately, what we see that pretty much the whole city is affected by this. It's not just a particular part of town. As far as background of victims, that's what this month stood out because of our gender. It's usually males, and the range is young adults, early 20s to 50s. It's a wide range. So a little history of that poster. When I present on the background, it's for all of us to know what are the triggers. Obviously, sometimes there is mental health problems that the person is experiencing, but are they getting treatment, are they not? Is treatment not enough? Was there an issue with a relationship, something that took him over to get to that point? Was it something else that he was taking medication, the condition deteriorated? But the common factor that I see is drugs and alcohol. It seems, although it's not, you won't see it 100% in these cases, such as these 3 that I presented earlier. That wasn't in play, but for the most part, people, when they're intoxicated, by whichever means, whether it's alcohol or illicit drugs, it seems that a lot of the, inhibitions right out the window, they tend to, that mechanism is usually, you'll find most of the time there to take them to that point. So that's why the poster came into mind, because we wanted to start with the downtown area. The downtown area is exploding. We have all these bars. It's usually young adults, but a lot of male adults. What we wanted to do is kind of a hook, right? So people are having a beer, one of the triggers, right? If they're having a beer, they have a poster on them with a QR code and do something with a question or something that you know. People go, click here. By that point, you already have information. If you wish, or if you're in that situation, we give you the tool. But that's one of the ways. Obviously, there's no silver bullet. It's going to take campaigns such as this. It's going to take little things such as the poster. It's gonna take interviews, it's gonna take, maybe a march. I like marches because you tend to be very visual. It's masses. People are very visual, they like that. You put balloons up in the air. They're hard to sometimes to organize, but I think we have the talent here to make it happen. As Ms. Basan mentioned, that event last year was wonderful. I unfortunately missed it, but I saw plenty of free publicity, which is ultimately what we want because sometimes we have lack of resources.
So, any other ideas?
Yes, Susan, thank you for providing that such a great update, and which, begs the question, and maybe I'm not too familiar, so please, if you all know, shed some light on this. But I know we opened a recovery center not too long ago. Are we there, is there flyers for us? Is there a poster there? I'm not too familiar with it.
We have not provided anything
Okay.
like that. And so this is why I asked all of you, because it takes all of us coming up with these ideas, and if we've done it, you would have known already. But no signage has been provided to anyone other than the banners that you see
Yeah.
out there, the 98 You're Not Alone, the buttons, the t-shirts. But that particular site, we don't have anything. It's
Maybe-
probably something. we
Yeah,
can provide.
especially because that's substance use, as you mentioned, it's a key point where once they're out, they can provide them that service so they not only they're sober, but they can keep that recovery going on.
So during their exit, they can be given
Yes.
a package of some sort.
Absolutely.
We do have posters at our office and we do have cards and magnets that we can drop off tomorrow at the detox.
Oh,
I
thank
can
you.
contact Dr. Martinez to see it.
That's awesome.
They're willing to put up 2 posters and some business, the cards that they have, the 980 and Pro and 980.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Maxine?
For the next event that we were having, is it too late to try and get the students involved for posters or poems or
It's not.
stuff like
too late.
that? And then if they submit, they can always take a pledge also. I don't know how effective those would be, but at least it would be something.
Yes, and this can even be done at your school. We can help you organize it, we can help you get the idea out there. Of course, following all the protocols of the school district. Because I know sometimes it can be difficult to have all the students go to a location unless you take a bus or anything. But that's one of the things that I envision, having that kind of a movement at every single campus. Even though the statistics say the contrary, right, that not the small children, but sometimes the small children are the ones that carry the messages to the mom and dad. Hey mom, did you know what I learned today, blah, blah, blah.
But not only that, if we can train the kids to see the signs,
Exactly.
maybe not only will they grow up to not do it, but maybe they can stop an adult in their life from doing it.
I like that. And so to answer your question, that's a great idea. It's not something we've done, but we can definitely look into it. And maybe your campus will be the first one to embark on this, and we will challenge both school districts to take it on.
Okay.
So if I can put your name next to it.
Yeah.
You did get community service hours. Towards the end of the year, a lot of them need hours, so maybe if they go and help out, they can get some community service hours. Also, I'm sorry.
No, you can go ahead and speak.
The stuff that we took last meeting, I have it in my office, and I did have a teacher take some, and she did go to the mall to Auntie Ann's, I think it's called, and she left it right there in the counter. She asked the manager, and he has it there, and he's gonna send it to the other location. So
That's wonderful.
it's out there.
And I know those resources are at no cost, is that correct? So can we get some more of those?
We order, as soon as we get one order, we order another one from our office. So pretty much there's not 2 orders at the same time. So they sometimes do take about 2 months to come in. They've been a little faster now, maybe about a month. But as soon as we get one package in, we order a new one. So I know right now magnets are limited on ordering, but they have the stickers, so.
Well, whatever you have, if you can order, or maybe if you can provide all the committee members that information, we can each of us place our own.
And I have pictures, I can send them to Angie. so
I
she
would
can
love
send
that,
them to
I would
you,
love to see that.
So you can see where they're.
So thank you so much for sharing, and this is what it takes, you know. For example, we have some of our students that wear the T-shirt and they wear it to their schools, and they take group pictures with their classmates, we give them community service hours. So it's all about trying to be creative and everybody sharing the same message. This is why I think that next week's meeting with the coalition, I would love for y'all that can attend. I know, Maxine, sometimes it might be hard for you because you're in school, but we can record it and share it with you, because I want you to have an idea of what is discussed. It's not about competing with anyone, it's about working together, and this is why I think that the coalition and this committee work hand in hand beautifully. Together we can do a lot more. They're an extension of who we are, and we continue to develop ideas like the ones that all of you came up with. I like the PSA ideas. We need to do more PSAs. I know the city has said that they will support us. Maybe we can start that right away. PSAs, like a new PSA, do like 2 or 3, and then just have them play at different times, you know, take them to the radio stations, to the TV stations. These are free. There should not be a charge because it's a public service announcement. I know for a while, I would set up interviews at the Coffee and Magic show with some of our coalition members. I went there a couple of times, every last Friday of each month. And I would just schedule them, and Mr. Ramirez would allow us to go in and just talk about that. So that worked very well, but then it takes our commitment, right? Because we can't say, oh yes, that's a great idea, but then when it comes to, are you available? No, I'm not available. So those are some of the things that work. If you look in your package on the left side, there's this handout, and you can see these are the activities that were done in September. You don't have that. Let me give you mine. And this was a picture of all the people that came together at the park. And you can have that when we kicked off the initiative. But, so we're hoping to do that again for this year. But I would like for y'all to attend the meeting, which is next Tuesday. And I will email you the information. I asked him for your contact so that I could have it and email you. Let me see. It is next March the 7th at 9 o'clock. It is a Zoom, so I will send you the link to your cell phone numbers right now. I have your information here. Except yours, I don't have yours, so you can just write your cell phone number here. And I think you all are part of the mailing list, so.
And if it's on Zoom, my off block is second block and it starts at 9.
It starts at 9? Okay. Like I said, if you're not able to join us, we'll record it so you can see what is discussed and see what else you can bring to the table. Chief, is there anything else that you would like to say or share with us?
No, just a very important comment, highlight a very important comment that, yes, we know that usually our young citizens, contrary to popular belief, they don't always death by suicide. It's not very common in our community, but yes, we need to educate them now, expose them to resources and so forth, because eventually they get older, right? So it's like you don't start driving when you're an older adult and you need it. Start training them when they're early, then those good habits eventually we tend to be for life, right? So yes, again, I go back to the silver bullet comment. I think we need to be attacking the more we attack it from different angles, from messages to something so huge like the bus, which I love, radio, social media.
And you know, the school districts have the buses and they have the bus wraps on them. Who says we can't use all of their buses? Or 10 out of the many that they have. I don't know, but this is something that it's gonna take all of us to support it, so I really like the discussion we've had, the ideas that are coming up, and there's even more. So that everybody that needs to hear that there's help will learn that there's help. And I want us to commit ourselves to take this very seriously every single month, whether we're meeting here or not. If you have an opportunity to talk to someone about the 98, do so, or share it or put it on your social media. We have a signature line also that we can email to all of you. I use it on mine. Whenever I email someone, 98 is there. And there's different graphics that were created for us to use on our Facebook, TikTok, whatever it is, the different graphics. So I'll send that to you guys also.
Doctor, I have a question. Have we solicited TAMU and Florida College for their cooperation?
Yes,
And-
and they are supporting it 100%.
Are they utilizing their academic advisors? I mean, they're
Yes, yes. In fact, Dr. Mita Ramirez sent me several pictures of their whole academic advisors wearing the shirts and talking to the students and
Okay.
even the special population area, and TAMU as well.
Okay.
And again, they're part of the coalition.
Pardon?
TAMU just developed an app
Okay.
for their students targeting mental health. So it's just for anybody that's enrolled, if they need any mental health assistance at any time, they can log on to that app and they can receive any type of counseling.
Okay.
So there's a
That's
lot
great to
of support from different angles, and sometimes based on the grants that they are able to receive, like Tammy, you received that grant, they're able to expand on what we kind of encourage them to start, right? Because all it takes is one initiative or one person to say, we need this, just like you all are saying, we need to do this at the ER, we need to do a PSA. Then people start paying attention and they'll say, oh, we can also do this.
Yes.
So together, the entire community can support the message. And, you know, we always say, yes, there's local health. Our local agencies are doing a great job. Border Region, Pillar, Scan, the health department, there's even some private doctors. But it's not enough, because think about our population. And most of these places are 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever it might be. The 98 is 24 hours a day. And this is why we selected this resource. But in addition to that, we say, of course, we have local resources, but at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're feeling like you need to speak to someone, the local resources are not available. Yes, some of them have a hotline, right? But then some people begin to say, they're going to know it's me. I don't want to call and seek help, because they're going to know it's me. So 98 is very, they don't know who you are. Any other comments or questions?
Us as Laredo Public Health, this past month, we did leave 98 information at a tattoo shop. Since it is primarily males and that was like different organizations we were trying to target. While I was there speaking to the owner of this dispensary overheard and asked if I could drop off information at their place as well. They do distribute CBD, anything like that, but they did mention that they do see a lot of individuals that go in there to self-medicate. They are depressed, they are anxious, so it was very interesting to see that they were interested as well in promoting some of that 98 info. So that was dropped off at the beginning of February, so I'll probably stop by again to refill them on more cards, more stickers, anything that they might need.
That's great. And see, it takes everybody working together. I know the last time you mentioned in the barber shops,
The barber
or beauty salons, I mean, these are places where people have to go, right? Because of their job or something, they're required to maintain their hair. And so when you're sitting there, you're reading 98, what is that like? So all the ideas are great and welcome, so please, if you think of something after we leave here, write it down, email Angie. I want you all to continue discuss it with your family tonight, talk about it, and ask them, how else do you think we can get this out to the community? Talk to your children, to your mom and dad, or, you know, at the rec centers, can we put posters up there, you know, I don't know. just want to remind you that the next meeting is in April the 24th at 5:30. So we always meet the last Wednesday of each month, with the exception of this month of March, because this room is being utilized tomorrow. But unless we are notified ahead of time, we will be every last Wednesday at 5:30 here. And then, of course, the coalition, I will send you that invite so that you can join us. And please join us, and you can invite others from your agency. It's not just for you, like if you wanted to invite your principal or your nurse or someone, please, the more the merrier. With that being said, somebody like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting?
I'll do the motion to adjourn this meeting.
Mr. Mesa?
Second.
Okay, Maxine seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. This meeting has been adjourned.